I want to get personal with you today because I used to be someone who felt guilt every time she spent money on herself. Sound familiar? Stay with me because what I discovered, it wasn't really about the guilt or even about the money. It was about something much bigger. Because the moment I gave myself permission, everything changed. So, if you want to stop being broke and don't know how, tune in to the rest of this video and make sure to stay till the end. My name is Diana. I'm an investor of over 20 years, and I have found that the best investment there is the actual human being, which is you. If you have learned to fulfill all categories of your life, which are basically seven areas of investment that you must do in yourself in order to sustain whatever it is that you want, this is the channel for you. So the first thing that we're going to start with in today's video, and it's really the foundation and the premises of investments, is permission. In order for you to make a different decision, in order for you to stop being broke, you actually have to give yourself permission to stop being broke. Why? Because the mind is like a record player. It will continue to play the same song over and over again until you tell it otherwise. The moment I gave myself permission, everything changed. And today I want to show you exactly how. We're going to use Kat's example, what she's going through, and how she can use the time wheel to really get out of debt and build wealth. There was a time where Kat was traveling the world at a very young age, doing all the things that she wanted to do. She had her fun. She even had time for relationships. She even hit her goals. But the one thing that she has not learned how to do is how not to be broke. Do you relate to Kat? Because she actually did a lot of the things that she set out to do, but then she stopped. She got stuck in time. What she didn't realize is that she actually fulfilled a lot of those areas in life, but she kept kind of overflowing her cup. And those things that used to fulfill her no longer fulfill her now. So she is actually caught in a trap. And are you caught in the same trap? Because it is the trap that most women fall into. It's not failure. It's called stagnation. So what does being broke have to do with Kat? And are you a cat? Meow. Let's talk about term investment. What Kat didn't realize is that of all the investments she possibly could have invested in, she invested in a short-term fund. She poured everything, her time, her energy, her money, really into short-time investments. And what is the cost of a short-term investment? And really, what is that rate of return? That she was never going to have a long-term rate of investment. And it's kind of an addiction. That's why people become addicted, because they want that hit. But because it's not long-term, they keep doing it over and over again. And because she spent it all, now she's exhausted. And guess what? It's no longer fun. So what does this look like for Kat in real life and for all of us? Well, for Kat, she became broke in health. She became broke in time. She became broke in wealth. And ironically, she became broke in fun. The very thing she was chasing. And I call this the broke triad. There's something that broke people do and they're unaware of. First of all, they have no boundaries and they don't know how to say no. The second thing is that they lie. Most importantly, they lie to themselves. And the third one is that they don't spend enough time doing the things that they want to build their surplus, to build their surplus, to give from a place of want instead of need, scarcity, and lack. So in my time wheel, as in is out, as above is below, that is really how I operate. When I want to see whenever I look to see what is going on out here, before I create a change out here, I will always go inside. I don't know if you know this, but if you have thyroid problems, have you ever considered the emotional aspect of the thyroid, which is, when is it time for me? When do I get to do what I want to do? I always make a correlation with the body because that is honestly where I have gone to find the own answers whenever I was looking to change something on the outside. So for Kat, that is the one area that she's always had unsuccessfully not been able to overcome. When does she get a chance to do what she wants to do? Because when you look at Kat, she has time to do things for everyone else. She has money to go do and buy presents for everyone else. Like, she has all this energy to do X, Y, and Z, but when it comes to her, she has nothing left to give to her. Could it be possible that as in as out, as above below, what comes from above you will find below, and what you find in front of you will be in back of you, is actually true? If you don't have your own back, guess who else won't have your back? No one else. If you don't honor thyself, guess who else won't honor yourself? Really, life and other people. If you don't have a firm foundation to stand on, when you feel depleted, where is your foundation? And most importantly, if you have nothing left to give, what is there for you? Reverting to the first investment, which is you, do you know what time it is? Kat, do you know what time it is? If you don't, download my time wheel. In the time wheel, you have 7 categories that in life, and really the body, because that is what nourishes the soul, is what every human being needs. You need health, you need wealth, you need fun, you need mind, you need spirit, you need you, and last, you need true connection. This right here is the time wheel, because for everything, there is time. However, this is the time wheel of now, because it's not where you've been, and it's not even about where you're going. It's actually exactly where it is right now. This is the season to invest. This is the season of your life. This is the time. And the time is now. I want you to pause for a second and tell me which one of these 7 areas are you lacking really nourishment in? And the harder question is, which of these areas are you overfeeding at the expense of everything else, including you? Kat was overfeeding in fun, connection, while completely neglecting her health, her wealth. That imbalance is really what broke looks like. Without those things, you will always be running low, just as a gas runs low in energy, just as a meter runs low and it needs to be fulfilled. We are human beings that need to be fulfilled with fulfilling experiences. May your energy be spent in areas that fulfill you. So if you're a person that is relating to Kat and wanting to change that, I will give you a tidbit of my story. And then we're going to transition over to the style ROI, because there always comes a moment in time, and there are pieces that we pick up along our journey that shows when we made a different decision and when we chose to put ourselves first instead of other people. When you look at, if you haven't been, but if you've ever traveled and been in an airplane, you will always notice that who is it that the air hostess says must put the mask on first? Is it you or is it the passenger? Because on all the flights I have ever been, it has always been me, Thyself. When you honor Thyself, you actually have a place and you come from a clean space to give to someone else. You cannot help someone else if you have not helped yourself first. And most importantly, you must always tell yourself the truth, because you will always feel it like in this area. That's why we tend to have all kinds of reactions in this areas, because we do not honor ourselves. When you're constantly saying yes to other people and saying no to yourself, that is really the recipe for mass oxygen intake. Your hormones respond. Your thyroid responds. A disrupted hormonal system means a foggy mind. And a foggy mind means that you cannot see clearly. It means that you cannot make decisions at the right time, and you have a really hard time making decisions. Guess what? When you can't make decisions and you can't see clearly, you definitely won't be building, because you won't be able to see opportunities. So the woman that says, I just want to volunteer, or I just want to do this, are you doing it to make yourself happy, or are you doing it basically to people please and make someone else happy? Because at that rate, you won't be happy. And guess what? Your body has already said no. So never put the oxygen mask on someone else when you are the most important investment. Put your oxygen mask on and start breathing and start living. Kat told me that she wanted to volunteer, and she actually meant it. But her health told a very different story. She actually was neglecting herself because she was preventing herself from showing up fully. She couldn't give from an empty cup, and she couldn't give from where she did not have. You cannot pour from an empty cup. I know you've heard that before. But what you've never heard is that you cannot even find your own cup if your mind is foggy, and that is called self-neglect. The style ROI. There is a fabulous piece that I picked up, but before I tell you and show you what that fabulous style piece is, I do want to tell you my story. As a business owner, I made a very big decision. And I'm going to say a lot of people may have not made that decision, which is okay, because I really came from a clean space of honoring thyself. I had invested in an investment property, and it was real estate. And it was such a cool thing that I did with it, because I was able to convert it into different spaces in order to maximize really my return on income. If you guys remember, return on income is when you invest what it is that you get back. So I am so curious, and that's why the time wheel is so important, because you will be able to see if where you're investing your time and is it worth your rate of return. Because if you're giving but you're not receiving and you're not even getting what it is that you want, do you really want to continue in these relationships? Everything in life is a relationship. How do you know if it's a successful relationship, or you need to cut the cord and let it go so that you can do what it is that you want? Well, check out my time wheel. It's a great tool for you to see the truth about your unique situation, and it gives you a very easy prompt for you to be able to do something today. You do that over and over, and that is how you create change, and of course, tuning into this wonderful channel. So for me, I ended up selling this. Really, it was a really great investment, and I probably did not have to work if I didn't want to. The way I set it up, I didn't have to work because I had cash flow, and I was really traveling the world around that time, only working 1.5 hours a week, and I had no debt. So other than my investment, I had no debt. Talk about leveraging and leveraging time. And the one thing I had time, so you can see how I invested in me. So I ended up selling this investment, and I wasn't exactly sure what it is that I wanted to do with the funds. And I had some input like, oh, you should do X, you should do Y, you should do Z. And while all those were viable, and you always want to continue investing and growing and of course making more money, but there really comes a time where you need to invest in you and do the things that you want. Lacking scarcity and regret that is built, you build it inside of you. And that is where a lot of bad decisions come from, because we make decisions not from a clean place, but from a space of I think I need to, I think I should, I think whatever that I think is, instead of what it is that I need and what it is that I want from a clean slate and from a clean space. So I actually ended up, instead of doing what it is that I already knew how to do, I actually set some money aside, and then I did something that I really wanted to do. When I asked myself what it is that I wanted to do, and that's called an investment audit. If you've never tried it, just grab a piece of paper, write down all the things that you want to do, and then ask yourself, why are you not doing it? I'm curious what your answer will be. Because someone would say, I don't have money. Someone else will say, I don't have time. Someone else will say, I don't have health. Someone else could say, I don't know how to do it. Someone can say, I just don't know the people how to get it done. Fill in the blank. There's always a reason why you're not doing what it is that you really want to be doing. But it's so fascinating because you will always find a reason to do something that someone else wants that you don't really want to do. Interesting. So if you want to honor thyself and your thyroid, and I say that with greatest respect because your thyroid, I'm not here to talk about your thyroid today, but it is where your hormones come in. When that becomes disrupted, your hormones become disrupted. When you're chemically disrupted, like you have just a foggy mind, you're clouded and you can't make the right decisions. The continuation of continue to honor thyself as your first investment ensures that everything that you do is a success and happens at the right time. So, how do you fix it? Well, it definitely doesn't start with what you think it is. It actually starts with an audit, not of your finances, but of yourself. The answer always comes down to 7 things: health, wealth, fun, mind, spirit, you, and connection. One of those 7 is always sitting between you and your next investment in yourself. Why don't you name it in the space below which one of these investments is your next investment? Because you cannot fix what you cannot face. Dave Ramsey says, to live like no one else later, you must live like no one else now. I'd like to add a little tidbit to that, especially for women in this space. Because the investment starts with you, not after you. You don't sacrifice yourself to build wealth. You build yourself up and the wealth follows. Now let me show you what that looked like for me. When you look at the time wheel, you will see that I invested in me and what that looks like. So I always had, let's just say, a dream to live in a specific house. And that house was always, at the time, out of my reach. And so it was a very specific house, and it was about a 3,500 square foot home. It was on a golf course. It was in a very unique setting. And I ended up finding this house in Cary, North Carolina. So what I did is I took funds for over a year, and I went and lived the life that I always wanted to live. I furnished this house from the bottom up, even though I was only there for a period of time. I traveled, so really half the time I wasn't there because I was traveling really to Europe the other half. And I didn't work. And so I really did all the things that I wanted to do. And that's where the style ROI comes in. Ta-da! One of the things that I did for myself that I wanted to do was buy this fabulous bag. I've always been a collector of bags. However, this is a authentic Prada bag. Right over here, it's just to the T. I did buy it at a consignment shop, so I probably did not pay the full price that it originally was. However, most importantly, I gave myself permission before someone else or the circumstances were perfect for me to do what it is that I wanted to do for myself. I gave myself permission, and as my investment, to invest in me on something that I wanted. And I did not need permission, and I did not wait for someone else's permission to buy what it is that I wanted. This bag will last me a lifetime. It is very fashionable. You can wear all kinds of outfits. And as you can see, I have my outfit over here. And over here, as you can see, it goes with this outfit. If you wear jeans, it goes with jeans. And obviously, it goes with the outfit that I have here. And here's what this bag taught me. It wasn't about the bag. It really wasn't about the money. It was all about the first time that I stopped waiting for someone else to give me permission and tell me that I was worth it. I made that decision myself. I'm going to say that we've always known that we're worth it, but sometimes we forget. This time, when I made the purchase of this bag, I knew the truth, and this truth changes everything. Not the real estate, not the portfolio, this. So if you want to stop being broke, then put yourself first. And putting yourself first does not mean putting yourself does not mean putting yourself underneath a bus and going into more debt. What is it that you want? And can you honor yourself doing what you want? And if you can't, download my time wheel, because it is time for you. If you have always put yourself last because you have been busy putting other people's needs first, it is time for you. Know what time it is, because it is time for you. Coaching from the heart, Diana. Well, so are you a cat? Are you investing in areas that fulfilled you 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 30 years ago? Are you running on empty, feeling broke, no health, no wealth, and wondering why things are not working? So here's your permission slip. You don't need to keep playing the same old record. You can actually move that needle, but only you can move it. So drop in the comments below which one of the 7 areas of the time wheel you have been neglecting. And I promise to read every single comment.